This is my 1924 Dodge two-door touring sedan. It started out as a four-door touring sedan. And I cut it down to two doors. Kept the back two doors, which were suicide. So it opens that way now. I had to rebuild the doors. They were pretty floppy. Still got some more to do right now. This is what I'm using as my door latches. They seem to work pretty good. Probably be what I keep. Looks like that. It's a Dodge. Has a Dodge 440 in it out of an RV. 1974 Dodge motorhome. 727 transmission. The story goes that the motor is just barely broke in on a rebuild, that they had it rebuilt like 20 years ago, drove it Springfield and back, which is, probably didn't put 1,000 miles on it after it's rebuilt. I hope that's the case. I did have it running, and I drove it to the house whenever I bought the RV, and it seemed to run pretty good. Right now I'm running quarter elliptical springs on front with some 750 motorcycle springs to help them out. I'm not sure if I'm going to stay that way or not. I'm real tempted to go with the airbag cantilever design in front or something similar to that. I do like being an airbag and let down and all that, but we'll see. The steering's out of a 50s GMC pickup truck that my dad had. The steering box is. The front axle is out of the RV. I'm kind of tied together there. The radiator is out of the RV. The headlights are actually Dodge, but I'm not sure what year I saw them. Bought them at a swap meet. Saw ones just like them on like a 38 Dodge or something like that. Yeah, I didn't know that when I bought them, but I just thought they were cool. The rear end's Dana 70, not out of the RV. The one out of the RV was actually too skinny to fit on the outside of my body like this. So my buddy Eddie kind of swapped me out for some other parts, and now I have this Dana 70 from the truck he had, which, as you can see, is just the right width. Although these probably won't be the wheels I'll keep on it. There's some stock wheels of some sort. But the tire height's probably what I'll run, so who knows, I'll probably keep those on there for a while. The gas tank is actually the reserve tank off of the RV. It started out, I think, as a 25-gallon tank, but I had to cut about 3 inches out of the middle of it to get the height right. As you can see, those row rivets on it, that's where I put it back together. The speed limit sign, as you can see on the inside, is a huge 65-mile-per-hour speed limit sign that I bought on an auction, actually by accident. It was stacked in with a bunch of other sheet metal that I was wetting and I bid on, and when we went to haul it out, we realized that this big speed limit sign was in there. Okay, the dash is a Dodge dash out of the RV. I'm hoping all the gauges, I'll be able to run them off the motor, and this will give me speedometer and everything that the RV had in it. It's kind of a non-traditional for a rat rod. Usually they like to go with the old style dashes with the 3 gauges or whatever. And one thing about this rat rod, I wanted it to be all parts from the RV that I could get. I wanted to harvest as much as I could off of it, keep it cheap. I got the RV for $300. So, right there, I've got quite a bit for that. The frame and body, I can't really put a good value on that because I actually traded it for a Corvette that I had. The wife actually admitted after the trade was done that she was glad that she hated the Corvette and would rather I'd built another rat rod. So here we have it. Still, on this video, I'll try to interwork some pictures of different things I've had, different views of it and whatnot. I'll have a a before picture included in with it. And some other stuff. But yeah, it's coming along. It's a lot of work. Anybody who doesn't put a lot of work into a rat rod is setting themselves up to fail. Just the floorboards alone, I know I've got over 12 hours in just making everything fit. A lot of times you see rat rods that don't have floorboards in them, where everything's just exposed. Mine will not be that way. Mine will all be enclosed. You won't see the ground, you won't see the transmission. You know, rat rods are what they are. They're art at the hands of the artist that built it. And if they want to see transmissions, then that's fine. They'll see transmissions. That's not my thing. I feel that's too undone. Right there in the middle is a piece of heavy wall pipe to serve as a drive shaft hoop, I guess you'd say. It help protect us in case the drive shaft breaks loose. I'll probably end up hinging this just so I can show it shows or whatnot. But I've got more motorcycle coilover shocks in back. It's not enough to hold it up. Right now there's blocks of metal on top of the axle actually supporting it. I'm still looking around. I'll probably end up airbagging it in back and in front. I was trying to get away from that. I was trying to just use what I have in the shop. I didn't want to spend any more money. I was trying to keep it just as cheap as possible, but airbags aren't that expensive. You know, buy 4 of them for around $100, $150 at the most off eBay now. So probably what I'll end up doing just for simplicity. It's just not worth it for me to spend hundreds of dollars on coilovers for this to hold this up and then be disappointed that it's not airbagged and that I can't set it on the ground. That's how it's looking. You can see. Let's see if I can get it right here. Yeah, there's the master cylinder behind the driver's seat. It's got a rod that comes up underneath the floor. On the other side will be where the battery goes. Planning right here, kind of on top of where the differential is, will be my fuse box back panel where you lift it up, be able to access the battery, the master cylinder, and the fuses. Kind of simplify that. Dodges of this era have this component here that has your ignition, your alternator, and your ballast resistor all on the same panel. That will eventually go underneath the cowl, underneath here, and be accessible either through this opening here or lift the body off. That's kind of my plan, just be able to lift the whole body off and leave everything, basically have a drivable chassis without the body on it. And that's kind of my hope with that. I don't know if I'll chop the top yet. I do have some plans for doing a top over this. Kind of a faux canvas and tar looking top made out of fiberglass with rebar bows going across it. It's not what would have been on it by any means, but I don't care. That's what I want to do. I've got some rebar to fill in the grill with. I'm actually going to be able to cut this hole out here so that you could actually fill it from the front, and that's what I'm going to use here. I'm going to mount this up, cut this hole out, mount this underneath it so my radiator cap will be out here. I'll have all this eventually covered up, a little more shroud to it, and maybe put some kind of fancy ornament thing onto the radiator cap so it's a real removable radiator cap like you'd have back in the day. I widened it. The grill I think was an old Chevy grill, and whenever I got the radiator, I realized the radiator wasn't going to fit between the frame rails. I had to widen it, so if you look right here, that's where I widened the frame at. I cut it out, I had this heavy angle iron, spread it out, clamped it together, welded it solid, bead on each side. I'm pretty sure it's not going to break anytime soon. And that gave me my width for my radiator to fit between my frame rails. And then I had to widen my radiator shell. Still way early mock-up stages. We're looking, like you could take it out and drive it right now. It's still very rough, still very mocked up. I'm hoping in the next month or so to get to the point where I can strip it all down, pull the body off, pull the motor back out, and take everything apart, flip the chassis over, and get to all the welds that I haven't welded, or all the seams, all the gussets I want to do. There's a lot more welding. There's hours and hours of welding I need to do on this chassis yet. Until then I'd be happy with it. Yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I really looking forward. I've been fighting the urge to go ahead and start the motor. I built these cool ass headers for it. Just right here. That's all there is to it. And I'm dying to see what they sound like. And I'm wanting to get everything done. I want when it goes to start for the first time, I want there to be gas in the gas tank, and I want it to be, running off the wiring where it's supposed to be at, and everything's done. I know the motor runs. It was, it ran when I pulled it into the garage to pull it out of the RV. It was running good then, so that's not really a concern. But yeah, I would like to see what the pipes sound like. That shifter, originally wanting to use the RV shifter, which was just like you'd have a console shift type thing, and it wasn't traditional, big, tall, goofy looking like I have now. And somehow I screwed up the cable, so I ended up having to do this kind here, which is fine. I mean, it just uses a basic rod system down below. Works fine. Don't know if I'll keep that shift knob on there, but that's what it's on. For now, my biggest concerns I've had thus far is I'm 5'11". By no means am I a giant, but to fit comfortably in here, I think somebody probably being 5'6" would be a little bit more comfortable actually driving it. It's kind of for my wife to do burnouts with too, so, but it is kind of tight. You can kind of see, I joked I probably wouldn't be able to wear my work boots in here, but let's see. There we go. There we go. I got the door shut. But you can see gas pedal works, brake pedal works. Steering, let's see, the steering is gonna work, I think. I'm gonna go a little bit bigger. I'm thinking of a bicycle tire on the outside of it to give you something to grip. But yeah, I can't wait. That's just a lot of work, and I want it to be right. I don't want it to be some hack job like we see out there that gives rat rods bad names. So I'm filming this for my buddy Dennis that has the patina code. Hey Dennis, I can't wait to see it outside. Definitely can't wait to see it going down the road. And I think it'll do some burnouts. It's kind of what it's built for, do burnouts. I think it'll do the trick. So this is Glenn. This is my rat rod, and thanks for watching.